Thank you and welcome to the show this morning. You are watching Perspectives with Alana McLaughlin, and I am host Alana McLaughlin. This morning I'm joined by Mr. Breion Dixon, known to some as Lil Bre or 2’Live Bre, to discuss his artistry, his background education, and his upcoming album, The Human Butterfly. So thank you for joining me this morning, Breion. And I'm especially really excited about this interview because I've been a personal fan for years, for a very long time, since actually like early high school for me. Wow. And I'm about to graduate college. So, so this has been a long time coming, and I surely appreciate you coming and sharing your perspective.
Thank you, Queen.
To start this first segment, I want to talk about your background in education. So just tell me kind of a little bit about Bre.
Man, it's so much, a little bit about me. I'm just a human butterfly. And thank you for having me here too as well. I think my story is just about evolving. I started very young. My stage name is 2’Live Bre. My mom and dad separated. It gave me two live paths. My dad, he was from North Nashville, Salem Town, so he had it a little rougher. And then my mom, I was in Antioch and had me in the church a lot. So I was one of them guys, them kids that was trying to battle their identity, and music was that for me. So I'm able to have that gift to understand all perspectives of the world because everybody I brought up different. So my music is a representation of that, but that's my background. I don't accolade through like that.
Now tell me kind of where you went to school. I'm hearing all these great things, but I'm like, man, where did you learn this stuff? Tell me some of your schooling.
Okay.
You were a part of Metro Nashville Public Schools.
For sure. I started my career at John F. Kennedy Middle School. That's when I started my teenage sensation, people would say. I performed at a pep rally. Shout out to Coach Carter. That school supported me to the max, and then I took that talent in the same drive to Antioch High School. Was able to do a lot of things. My principal was Dr. Battle at the time. Then after that, I went to Tennessee State University and just turned up TSU. You know what I mean? So I love TSU. Go Blue. So.
And I'm also a product of Tennessee State University. I was studying music education, so you know, the band, the whole nine. I was an aristocrat, so it's we know that stronghold that TSU has and the meaning that it has to North Nashville. And from TSU, from these humble beginnings, tell me when your career started to really blow. I remember, Lord, I guess around 2015 maybe or 2014.
You got the dates right. That's crazy.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I think definitely 2014 is when I started like seeing, okay, this thing that I'm having fun with is a career. And that became because I started getting booked for Sweet 16s and all this stuff, but also I had my first opportunity to perform at the Municipal Auditorium. My name's in the lights, and that was with Mindless Behavior. For the people that may, I was wondering who is Mindless Behavior.
Oh
you know, I know some of my fans like, what? Who's Mindless Behavior now? Because you know, we in different times, but that was a big thing for me. And then I also did it again with Yo Gotti and the Migos. So I had a lot of exposure at that age when social media wasn't really a big thing. So I know how to come an approach of reaching people without technology, and now I'm knowing how to reach people with technology.
And what were you doing to kind of like get that exposure out? I know that word of mouth was a big thing, but what were you doing personally?
Honestly, like just being truthful, because people need to hear the truth. It's really just about staying true to yourself and being human, because it goes a long way. If you show people your real self, it's going to be word of mouth, but like, I always came and approached my marketing tool as like being very vulnerable, and because it teaches and heals people, and a lot of people don't have that skill to be honest. Sad to say, as humans, you know. Right. And when you able to connect with people and treat people how you would want to be treated, like I have crazy great fans, supporters, family, friends that support me, but I give them a chance to pour into me with their stories, and I embrace their stories, and I always include them in my story and represent them everywhere I go, and that what created the fan base and the love.
Now, Breion, tell me, to wrap this first segment, we've gotten to so much, I'm so excited, but tell me about your first mixtape, because I remember and bought it. This was, Lord, before Apple Music. You actually had to buy the album. So tell me just about the production of that and that reception.
Wow. That project is not even out anymore, and that's crazy. It's called The Last Songs. I remember that. That was
like the white cover.
Yep, I was one of the first people to ever be able to upload my music to Apple Music in Nashville, and that was shouts out to DJ Money Green and Kelly Hype for making that happen. Wesley Crutcher as well, and that was a big time for me. me. I graduated my senior year 2015, and prom was the same night, April 25th. I remember it like yesterday. So that was a big day for me, senior. Like I'm gonna drop an album. So like.
In our second segment, we're just gonna pick back up on this momentum that you started at high school.
Yeah.
And I encourage our viewers to tune into this amazing interview. Tune into the second segment of Perspectives, where I'll be joined with Breion Dixon, and we'll be discussing the human butterfly.
Yep.
Welcome to the second segment of the show for today. For viewers just tuning in, you're watching Perspectives with Alana McLaughlin, and I'm joined this morning by Breion Dixon, known to some as Lil Bre or 2’Live Bre, who's a Nashville local artist who is now a national artist, and we're discussing his background, his artistry, education, and the build up and, well, the momentum build to the album being released on September 29th, The Human Butterfly. And so thank you again for joining me this morning. And to really pick back up on what we left in that first segment, we were just talking about you releasing your first mixtape on graduation night.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. And we talked about just kind of the build up for that. You were one of Nashville's first artists to actually publish music to Apple Music.
Yes.
And Lord, just tell me about that reception.
It was crazy, honestly, because, you know, it was so many emotions. You know, I remember like so many congratulations just getting through high school, getting through, you know, everything, and being able to get the accolades for just music and following my dreams. And I was using my music as my senior capstone at the time, to be honest. So that I just embraced it all. And right after that, I was able to go on tour with Odd Future, and then perform with Jacquees a couple times too. That summer of being 18 years old was crazy. I was being exposed to a lot of different things, but it all led me to who I am today. And I tell people all the time, like, your community is what's going to shape your career. Like, the fans, the support, whatever you want to name that, it's right in front of you. If it's your mom, your dad, love them, let them love you, and let them spread the word about you, but trust in them people that's already supporting you, because it's going to blow, I'm telling you. And
I know you started building that community foundation at John F. Kennedy Middle, and, you know, went on through Antioch, through TSU. But for people outside of your education, for people outside, how did you build that community kind of relationship?
I'm going to take it back to TSU. I didn't want to go to college between me and you, but I signed a deal at the time with a producer, and he was like, hey, I think you should go to college too, just because. And I'm like, bet, cool. I get there, I'm in there at TSU, the littlest campus on the earth. And I realized real quick that it's a lot of people in Tennessee State University that's not from here. So I took over that campus, doing the concerts, opening up for Young Thug, doing the pep rallies, doing everything. Like, I don't know, I was going insane there. But I literally did that, and the people that became fans there started telling their families back home in Memphis, Alabama, you know, Atlanta, everywhere around the world. It's a university. So I started having a whole different fan base. And then on top of that, I got a call from Jesse Collins, Rhythm and Flow, in my junior year at TSU. They're like, hey, come be on Rhythm and Flow, Cardi B, T.I., and that, again, just gave me a whole nother exposure. And I really want to say, like, if you get yourself in a position to spread love and be yourself, it's going to be contagious, because people are going to talk and advocate for you. So I think that's where it started for me to get that national exposure and just different relationships and partnerships.
And you're totally right, and I especially appreciate hearing you say this, because I watched this. I'm a few years younger than you, but I actually watched your career rise, and I watched, you know, Rhythm and Flow. I remember how excited the city was. It's like, oh my gosh, did y'all see Lil Bre is on TV? It's crazy. And I remember you opening up for, you know, different pep rallies, different events at TSU, and be like, man, like, look at Bre, he's really doing something. And from there, from year 18, from that first mixtape, tell me where you went from there.
Okay.
Now, think about life after TSU.
Yeah, life after TSU, man, it's been so crazy, because that was COVID year when I graduated. I didn't even get to walk a stage. So that was kind of depressing. But, you know, everybody was going through hard times. But I took that time to really sit back. Let's do some reflection. I did therapy. I did a lot of stuff that artists, you know, that artist development for myself. I started working with a company out of Mexico called Blanks Me. Created my own shoe that the news covered here. I'm so thankful for it. That actually invested in mental health for other artists. And like I told people, I was going to take that and make something bigger, which came out to be Butterfly Nation. And Butterfly Nation is helping other artists get that same therapy, but also using their influence to go into the juvenile system, helping juveniles get the opportunity that we're doing. I'm partnering with people like Red Bull right now and doing TV shows in LA right now. It's movies right now. It's so many things. It's so much going on. And I'm currently being a founder of a company called the Plek app. You'll hear more about it in Nashville first, but I'm working with some people out in London, and it's going to help artists around the world be able to connect with their fans better. So I am an artist first, but I'm about giving the resources and the help with my whole journey, and everything that I do, it shows that. So I think after TSU, I just became like a total insane creative, like I'm just about it, man. I'm about to change, and I'm about legacy. So I'm giving people the platforms in so many ways. So yeah.
And you mentioned something especially interesting. You talked about the mental health aspect of it, and I was actually going to ask, how are you able to stay sane with doing all that you do? And so tell me, how are you able to maintain that mental health, and especially as an artist, because you're on that public platform. I've had Jamarius Williams 615 exclusive come, and he talked he talked about that mental health aspect and how it's rough. People will talk to you any kind of way. Tell me how you kind of
I mean, you're going to always be exposed to different adversity. But you know, everyone's built for it, but you got to have the right people around you. You got to identify who you want around you day one. Because it's always going to be a challenge. I'm so thankful to people around me, the Cornelius Group, marketing, Cal Jefferson, producer, all the teams and partnerships. I make sure I intentionally have people around me that I can be vulnerable with. I'm having a bad day. I just didn't want to talk through it. You know what I mean? Like that's the simple. You know what I mean? A lot of people don't have that when they're chasing their dreams, because some days you can have everything lined up. I'm telling you. Millions of dollars ahead of you, and you know it's there, it's coming. But today, you want to quit and act like it's zero there. You know what I mean? Just because your mind has had so much pressure on it, and people are not going to understand you. I deal with this often. A lot of my fellow colleagues I talk to, I know you can relate, you know. And, you know, people see us in the light on this camera sometimes, and they think we're not human. And that's why I created this project called Human Butterfly, because we are all evolving together and we all are human. Don't ever get it confused. Just because we're shining don't mean that we don't got tears too. You know what I mean?
You're so right.
So practice therapy, practice being vulnerable to somebody. Try to find that someone you can just be raw with. You know what I mean? And keep flying.
So basically, really having that support system and having someone really there to catch you when you fall. And I've actually had a number of guests, not just today, but over the course of Perspectives, who have all really said that having that support system and having people there, the right people, the people that the Lord has chosen for you, makes the difference. And it's right. And to wrap this second segment, I don't want to get too deeply into it, because we're going to spend our final segment talking about this. I want you to tell me the inspiration behind the Human Butterfly. And if you could put it in a sentence, tell me.
I know where the world is at right now. The world is, we're all looking for somebody and something, or something to get us out of the mud. We all have been facing adversity. Look at what's going on in the world. I don't have to just be, I could point at it if I wanted to, but it's just been hard. So this project is that thing that is going to heal people together and no ego attached. So
healing people with no ego attached. I like that. And in our final segment, join me and Breion to discuss the Human Butterfly, Butterfly Nation, and overall the career of 2’Live Bre.
Hey.
Welcome to the final segment of the show for today. For viewers just tuning in, I am host Alana McLaughlin, and you are watching Perspectives. This morning, I'm joined by Breion Dixon, an artist, actor, influencer, and a man of many hats who is known to some as Lil Bre and others as 2’Live Bre, but ultimately is Breion Dixon. And we are here to discuss his upcoming album, The Human Butterfly. In our first two segments, we discussed Breion's early history, his early careers, experiences in different Metro Nashville public schools, at Tennessee State University, and the different entities that he's worked with to shape the man that he is today. And I just want to thank you again for sharing this perspective this morning. And I want to hop right back into where we left off in that second segment. We were talking about, I asked, what is the human butterfly? I asked what the idea behind that was, and we broke it down into a sentence of healing people with no strings attached. But I want you to elaborate on that.
Yeah, like healing people, there's so many topics I was talking about. You know, I have friends in the LGBT community. I have friends in, you know, the Black Lives Matter community. I got friends that are going through financial issues right now. I have family members that's going through relationship breakups. And I used all these stories and put it in a song, multiple songs. And I feel like the world is going through that and they need that inspiration to get up out of that mud. So this is a project that should bring light to the community around the world and internationally, for real.
And what do you think is the difference between the human butterfly and previous mixtapes or previous tapes you've released?
Yeah, you get to see all the self-work I put into myself. You get to see everything musically wise, like this is who I am, period. It takes a long time for an artist to really find their self with their craft. I finally have graduated into that artist where I can bet on myself, I can tour. Y'all have seen me here locally, sold out multiple shows, and now it's time to take this thing on the road. So this is the birthing moment of what hip hop of Nashville can look like, and I'm excited, man. I'm really excited because there's so much things I can't talk about that is going on, and this is the blueprint. This is the pen that we put on it right now. Yeah.
Now tell me about Butterfly Nation. I know that that's kind of a play off of the human butterfly. But we spoke in like our previous segments about Butterfly Nation. That's kind of what you refer to as your supporters.
Yeah.
And tell me just about the mindset behind that.
Yeah, Butterfly Nation is organization that a lot of creatives come together, collaborate. And we do so many things, and it was so hard on me because everybody keep wanting to make Butterfly Nation a record label, a gang, but they want to make Butterfly Nation so many things, and it's really just a community to share resources for creators to know that they can give back to their community without having $1 million. We think that sometimes we think that we have to have success of so much financial freedom to even pour into our community. No, we have knowledge, and that is worth $1 million. So I try to pour that into all my fellow creators. So yeah.
Yeah. And what are some of the ways that people, even non-creatives, can support you?
I think everybody's creative, though. If you cooking, you creative. You're a parent, you creative. Because you got to be creative to tell that kid what to do. You know
You're
what I
right.
mean? Shout out to my son. I love you so much, Reese. And this is how you do it, though. We have recently done a back-to-school drive with my boy, D-Boy Cuss. He's been on here.
Yeah.
We have done multiple drives. We have done food drives. We have went to the juvenile systems. We have done things. Just be a part. Just come a part of. I'm bringing influencers. If they come to my city and they're performing at Bridgestone, I'm encouraging them to come to the juvenile system with me and pour into the community. Let them know they can go after their dreams. So let's be creative. Like if you cook and you got a restaurant, let's go give some food to the community and let them know how to make an independent business. So we are always looking for new ways and new ideas to like make an impact on our youth. And also impact on our adults, because I also partner with Tennessee Respite Coalition for Children with Disabilities and families with disabilities, caregivers, and finding creative ways how to reach our caregivers that is overwhelmed every day. They deserve a break. So I'm always looking for something like that to help our community, period, stay strong.
And now tell me about some of the events that you have coming up. I know you specifically have an album release party on the 29th coming up at the Analog, which will be celebrating the human butterfly. So tell me about that.
Ooh, that thing is a bad boy. It's at Analog. It's sponsored by Red Bull. I'm so excited.
It's sold out too.
And it's sold out already.
I got my
Just so thankful. But I will encourage, if you haven't got your tickets, still come. We want this to be over capacity. I know I shouldn't say this on television. We want it to be because this is a highlight of what the community and culture is like. It's so
Fire
beautiful.
Marshal's gonna get us tonight.
Tonight is the night to do it. We have this experience is going to be crazy because we have visual experience on top of a performance. We have some storytelling, poetry. It's a lot going on. People know that I'm Mr. Innovative when it comes to this craft here. So I I always try to do something different every concert, everything. We can't do the same thing twice. You know what I mean? So that's what's next. And next year we are doing the Human Butterfly Tour. So I'm announcing that here. So I'm excited about that. So
wow. And thank you so much for using this platform to announce that. That is awesome. And congratulations.
Yeah. So we'll be in a city near you. If you know a city that you want us to be in, please let us know, because they may talk to you and tell him to come here.
Yeah.
So
and I'm calling you.
Yes.
Now, Breion, I want to spend the last part of this segment talking about some of the gems that you want to leave with the guys who are watching this, the young girl or young guy or just young person who watches this and says, I want to be in Breion's spot. I want to do this. I'm in this rut right now, whether mentally or physically, and I want to elevate to that level. How would you help someone in that sense?
That's 100. I instantly would say this, like, you don't want to be me. You don't want to be my dear queen right here. You don't want to be the people that's behind these cameras working this production. You want to be yourself, because it's nobody thinking the same thought as you. And the magic is believing in that thing that's in your mind that God is telling you, and you stay on path of that and you stay in there. I promise you the magic happens, because nobody's thinking like you. Nobody in the world is having the same vision as you. It's that simple. If you believe in that road that's in your mind, and do it, don't let no outside noise touch you. You gonna get that, and I promise that. And I put it on 2’Live. I put it on my son Reese, and I can't wait to see you on top, because we finally here. We done it. We gonna do it together. So
you're right.
Yeah.
And really, I'm just so many questions are just flowing through my head, because you've said so many awesome things. I was gonna focus more on your career and the actual, accomplishments with being on ABC, different, channels and all across the country. But honestly, I'm more taken aback by just how humble you are and the man that you are.
Thank you.
And so tell me, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? Where is 2’Live Bre going?
We got this written, and honestly, people don't know I am an executive producer of Shine in LA, a TV show that is going crazy right now. I want to start my own TV show here, and I'm actually working on it right now between me and you. And I wrote my first script for a movie called The Breakdown. In 5 years, I think 2 years, we'll be having that.
A year.
We'll be having it in the movie theater here, but also on major platforms. And we can definitely close in a Tubi movie and Peacock movie. In 2 years, people where we're gonna be. So I see myself doing so many things creatively. You always gonna get albums from me, but everything I'm gonna be able to create jobs for other entertainers. And the entertainment arts here in Nashville. For the black community, hip hop community, the urban community, that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to create opportunities for all people. So whatever you look like, I'm supporting you. I'm here for you. And tell me how I can advocate for you.
And I appreciate that, because honestly, a lot of our youth don't have that advocate. I spoke with a man who runs a mental health group for African American women, and one of the things that he said was just that there's just no support for our young girls. And he specifically deals with women, but that extends to all of our children. There aren't as many resources, and there definitely aren't people who are preaching what you're preaching in their ear. And honestly, to kind of summarize all of this and to summarize everything, I want to know, where do you go from here? You've mentioned movies, you've mentioned songs. How do you go from here?
It's the thing that keeps me inspired is pouring into the community, because I know what's the need. And creating, being a creative, that's your purpose to be a creative. It's not when we put that ego in there, that's when we start damaging our community and the world. But when you take the time to go invest in your community and culture around the world, I do everything I do in Nashville when I go on the road to Cincinnati. I'll go to a juvenile.
And that means the world.
And I realize the data. And I understand, okay, what's the need? And how can I use my gifts?
And you apply it.
To make it. And then when it happens, people appreciate it, because they're like, oh.
And I know they do. And Breion, thank you for sharing all this. And thank you for the words that you've spoken over all of our viewers this morning, and for this perspective. And to our viewers, I appreciate you, and I wish you a good morning.